Firstly, Hollywood's brightest stars have always captured our imaginations. Today, let's journey through Tinseltown's rich history to honor 10 movie stars whose lives and roles changed the film world forever. These performers went beyond acting, they became symbols of courage and style that shaped entertainment for everyone. Their paths included tough times, amazing successes, and ways they helped others, making their legacies truly special. Join us as we explore the deep and moving tales of these 10 most evocative stars from Hollywood history. Moreover, the actor James Stewart, often called Jimmy, captured the heart of America as the perfect everyday hero. He brought a humble and gentle spirit to every role, with a quiet strength that made people feel real emotion. Growing up in a small town in Pennsylvania, Stewart began by studying to become an architect at Princeton University. But soon, he fell in love with acting and joined a special group of performers known as the Players Guild, where he worked with friends like Henry Fonda. His honest way of speaking and natural charm caught the eye of top directors right away. One director, Frank Capra, picked him for the film Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, where Stewart played a simple man fighting for justice. That role made him famous all over the country and got him a chance to win an Oscar for Best Actor. When World War II broke out, Stewart put his career on hold to serve as a pilot flying dangerous missions in the U.S. Army Air Forces. He rose in rank to become a brigadier general, something almost unheard of for a movie star at the time. After the war ended, and he could act again, his parts grew more serious and complex. He teamed up with director Alfred Hitchcock on several films, including Rear Window, where he watched over his neighbors from his window. Rope, a story about young men who committed a terrible crime, The Man Who Knew Too Much, involving a kidnapping, and the famous Vertigo, often called one of the best movies ever made because of its twisty plot and deep feelings. Stewart also shone in warm-hearted films like So Wonderful Life, playing George Bailey, a man who learns the value of his life through the help of an angel. That character became a symbol of hope and kindness for many people during tough times. Over 50 years in movies, Stewart won many awards, including an Oscar for his work in The Philadelphia Story, and a special Lifetime Oscar for changing Hollywood forever. He blended big dreams with real-life struggles in a way that shaped how stories were told in old Hollywood, mixing cheerfulness with the shadows of the human heart, allowing viewers to see themselves in his performances. Beginning with her humble origins in Belgium, Audrey Hepburn faced the harsh realities of World War II from a young age. As a child raised amid the chaos of the conflict, she endured significant hardships, including the severe malnutrition that plagued her during the Nazi occupation of the Netherlands. Despite these challenges, Audrey showed remarkable resilience, fueling her passion for ballet even in the toughest times. This determination eventually carried her to London, where her talent caught the eye of casting directors and led to her big break in the film Roman Holiday. In Roman Holiday, Audrey's debut role captivated audiences and critics alike with her slender frame, doe eyes, and soft-spoken charm that set her apart from the glamorous stars of the era. This unique presence on screen was not just refreshing, but also groundbreaking, as she became one of the rare newcomers in film history to sweep major awards for her first performance. She took home an Academy Award, along with a BAFTA and a Golden Globe, highlighting her exceptional skill and natural grace. Following this triumph, her career soared with iconic roles that cemented her status as a Hollywood legend. One of her most memorable performances came in Breakfast at Tiffany's, where she portrayed the mysterious and whimsical Holly Golightly. This role transformed her into a fashion icon, largely due to the film's famous black dress and pearls that became symbols of elegance in cinema. Her on-screen style, combined with her gentle demeanor, made her a beloved figure whose charm resonated deeply with fans worldwide. Yet, Audrey's impact extended far beyond the spotlight. In her later years, she shifted her focus to humanitarian efforts, serving as a UNICEF Goodwill Ambassador. She dedicated herself tirelessly to advocating for children in famine-stricken and war-torn regions, traveling extensively to support those in need. Even as she battled serious illness toward the end of her life, she continued this vital work without wavering, embodying a spirit of kindness that touched countless lives. Throughout her journey, Audrey Hepburn represented so much more than beauty or fame. Her experiences from the war shaped her into a resilient person whose grace and compassion shone through in everything she did. From the dancing studios of London to the bright lights of Hollywood, she evolved into a symbol of true elegance that inspired generations. Her slender figure and soft-spoken ways made her roles memorable, but it was her inner strength and dedication to others that made her truly unforgettable. In films like Roman Holiday and Breakfast at Tiffany's, she brought characters to life with a gentle touch that felt authentic and heartful. Lieutenant Audrey's transition to philanthropy was seamless, as her early hardships molded her empathy for the suffering of others. She traveled to remote areas affected by war and hunger, using her prominence to raise awareness and aid. Her work with UNICEF involved visiting children in places ravaged by conflict, where she listened to their stories and fought for better lives. Despite facing her own health struggles, including the effects of her wartime malnutrition resurfacing in later years, she persisted in her mission. This commitment highlighted her as a person whose kindness outweighed any personal trials. She balanced her career peaks with a deep sense of purpose, showing that true stardom comes from giving back. Her fashion choices, like the simple black dress and Breakfast at Tiffany's, influenced styles that are still admired today. Paired with pearls, the look captured a timeless sophistication that set trends and inspired designers. Audrey's aesthetic was about subtle elegance, not flashy excess, which aligned perfectly with her personality. Off-screen, she lived modestly, pouring her energies into causes that mattered. Her doe eyes conveyed not just beauty but also a quiet wisdom from her past. In interviews and appearances, her soft-spoken nature revealed a thoughtful individual who valued simplicity and sincerity. As she aged, Audrey's legacy grew stronger through her humanitarian deeds. She documented her trips for UNICEF, sharing stories of resilient children in desperate situations. Her advocacy touched on education, clean water, and protection from violence, addressing root causes of suffering. Even when her health declined, she pressed on, visiting areas like Ethiopia and Bangladesh to witness the impact firsthand. This dedication mirrored her resilience from the war years, proving that her spirit remained unbroken. Her work earned her global respect, not just as an actress, but as a compassionate force for good. Families worldwide watched her films and learned about her causes, inspiring many to contribute to similar efforts. Her grace in facing adversity became a silent lesson, showing how one person's kindness can ripple outward. Audrey Hepburn's story intertwines personal triumph with selfless service, painting a picture of a woman who used her fame for greater purpose. From escaping the shadows of war to lighting up screens with her charm, she navigated a path marked by perseverance. Her roles challenged norms of Hollywood glamour, emphasizing inner beauty over surface allure. In Roman Holiday, her performance broke barriers, earning her unprecedented acclaim that opened doors for other talents. The awards she received underscored her raw talent, making her a pioneer for newcomers in the industry. Yet, it was her life beyond acting that truly defined her legacy, as she embraced causes that protected the world's vulnerable children. Through UNICEF, she became a voice for the voiceless, advocating tirelessly in regions plagued by famine and unrest. Her slender build and gentle voice masked a formidable strength, evident in her ability to endure personal hardships while focusing on others' pain. This blend of artistry and altruism made her an icon of kindness. Fans remember her doe eyes sparkling in classic films, but also her commitment to humanitarian work that extended her influence far beyond entertainment. Her passion for ballet in youth foreshadowed the graceful poise she brought to every endeavor. Overcoming malnutrition's long-term effects, she turned injury into motivation, channeling adversity into compassionate action. In war-torn areas, she met children whose struggles echoed her own past, fostering a deep connection that drove her advocacy. Her tireless travels, often in challenging conditions, demonstrated unwavering dedication despite illnesses creeping in. Stories from her UNICEF journeys reveal a woman who listened intently and acted boldly. She promoted education as a shield against conflict, pushing for resources in deprived places. Her soft-spoken pleas in public speeches moved audiences, urging action for global betterment. This later chapter of her life showcased a maturity that complemented her early career brilliance. From the elegance of a black dress to the humility of selfless giving, Audrey embodied timeless virtues. Her influence persists in fashion, film, and philanthropy, inspiring older adults to reflect on lives rich with purpose. Roots in Belgium's turmoil shaped a spirit unbroken by time's tests. Through ballet's discipline, she found discipline in life. London's discovery marked a gentle rise, far from fame's harsh glare. Roman Holiday's magic sprung from her authentic spark. Awards piled high, yet humility stayed her guide. Breakfast at Tiffany's, Rimsey crafted an enduring image. Black dress and pearls signified subtle style. UNICEF's call answered her calling to help. Children in need found a devoted champion. Illness neared, but resolve held firm. Beauty, kindness, elegance defined her essence. Transitioning from screen to service widened her world. Grace in frames mirrored grace in deeds. Doe eyes witnessed beauty and sorrow alike. Soft-spoken voice amplified silent struggles. Resilience from war fueled lifelong empathy. Humanitarian paths crossed with cinematic legacy. Passion for ballet evolved into passions for justice. London Oz lights led to global lights. Awards celebrated her, but her heart celebrated others. Iconic roles reflected a rare purity. Fashion trends stemmed from natural charm. Advocacy spanned continents, touching hearts. Kindness in action outshone stardom. Elegance endured beyond films. Moreover, Cary Grant, originally named Archibald Alexander Leach, was born in Bristol, England, and grew up in a family filled with emotional challenges. His early years were marked by hardship when his mother was sent to an institution at a young age, a fact hidden from him for many years. Seeking to leave that difficult past behind, he joined an acrobatic troupe, which led him to perform and travel. Eventually, this path took him to the United States, where his natural charm and handsome appearance drew attention in Hollywood. There, he transformed into a legendary actor, shining in many classic films. His sophisticated style and perfect comedic skills made him a favorite for screwball comedies, including Bringing Up Baby and The Philadelphia Story, where he brought laughter and wit to the big screen. He also worked with director Alfred Hitchcock on thrillers like Suspicion and Notorious, demonstrating his talent in serious roles too. One standout film, North by Northwest, showcased his suave character involved in espionage adventures. Even though he never won an Oscar during his career, the Academy later gave him a special Lifetime Achievement Award for his contributions. Away from the cameras, Grant valued his personal privacy and showed elegance and wisdom in his life, adding to his mysterious appeal. Today, he remains a symbol of timeless charm and sophistication in the world of movies. Moreover, Ingrid Bergman's career stood out as a true blend of elegance and strength, helping her tackle major successes and tough challenges in movies from around the world. She started life in Sweden and lost her parents early, which shaped her path. After that, she learned about acting in Stockholm and soon caught the eye of Hollywood with her bright personality and real way of performing. Unlike many other stars from her time, she avoided thick makeup and fake acting styles, choosing instead to act in an honest and natural manner that drew people in. Her big break happened in the classic film Casablanca, where she played Ilsa Lund with such deep feeling that it made the love story even more powerful. Yet, Bergman wanted more than just studio jobs and easy parts. At her most famous point, she took a brave step to team up with Italian director Roberto Rossellini for movies, and also in her personal life. This led to a huge public uproar, meant she could not work in the United States for a while, and caused her to live in Europe for some years. Even so, she kept on with Rossellini's films, diving into roles that showed complex emotions and real feelings in ways that broke from usual Hollywood rules. Later, when she came back to American movies through Anastasia, she won another Academy Award and showed everyone her skill and comeback. She surprised fans once more in Autumn Sonata, a movie guided by director Ingmar Bergman, who shared her last name by chance, where her role as a troubled mother was praised as one of her best ever. Through it all, she showed a bright and classy side along with a bold honesty in her art. Now, John Wayne was a huge star in American movies, both because of his size and his attitude. With his special way of talking, his tall body, and his calm strength, he showed what Americans thought was the perfect self-made person after World War II. He was born with the name Marion Robert Morrison, and he got a chance to play football at the University of Southern California. But a bad accident while riding waves on the beach stopped his sports career. He went to work for movie studios behind the scenes, and after doing small parts in lesser films, he became famous in John Ford's movie Stagecoach. That film made him the main hero in Western stories. For many years after that, Wayne starred in lots of famous movies like Red River, Rio Bravo, and The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance. Yet, it was in The Searchers where he played a Civil War soldier who was troubled, and not so perfect, and that added more feeling to his strong image on screen. Away from movies, Wayne was a man with strong opinions, a conservative who loudly backed the U.S. military. But no matter what people thought of his views, his effect on films was clear. In 1969, he won an Oscar for his role in True Grit, proving his charm stayed strong even as Western movies started to fade. In his last movie, The Shootist, he acted as an old gunfighter facing death, showing a gentle wisdom that matched his own fight with sickness. His mark on movies lasts on, not only in the Western type he helped create, but in that picture of a lone hero staying brave through hard times. People still remember how he looked and acted in those films. For example, his voice and walk made him stand out. He often wore cowboy hats and boots that fit his big presence. Directors liked to shoot him standing against the sun to make him seem even stronger. His roles taught lessons about courage and right from wrong. Even when he played bad characters, like in some older films, he added layers. Off camera, he did charities and helped veterans. His love for flying led him to invest in planes. Political fights brought him trouble, but his movies sold millions of tickets worldwide. Fans quote his lines today. Young actors study his style. Movies keep copying his themes. Ranchers use his image for ads. His ranch in California remains a spot for memories. Friends shared stories of his kindness. Enemies saw his fierce side in debates. Through it all, Wayne symbols freedom for many. Westerns changed because of him. He pushed for big epics like The Alamo. Those films cost much but earned more. He worked with great directors like Ford and Hawks. Their friendships shaped his career. He rode horses, well, even with injuries. Stunt people admired his skills. Women admired his charm. Men wanted to be like him. Awards came late, with an Oscar at 62. He lived through an era of change. Wars called him away, but he served as a naval officer in World War II. That added real grit to his roles. Critics praised his depth in later films. Family valued his loyalty. He married 3 times and had many children. One son became an actor too. They ran his production company. Companies still release his movies. Classics like Shane and El Dorado play on TV. The Lone Ranger brought him fame early. True adventure shines through his work. Even in comedies, his face lit screens. His size made him tower in scenes. Directors built sets around him. Props shined with his touch. Themes of justice drove plots. He stood for American dreams. Farmers and cowboys loved him. Iconic poses define him in photos. Memorabilia sells well. Reenactments honor him. His death in 1979 saddened fans. Services honored his legacy. Gravesites draw visitors. Scholars write books about him. Students learn history from his films. Western boom thanks to him. Influence spans decades. Crowds cheered at premieres. Fan mail poured in. Stars sought his advice. He stayed active until the end. Health battles weakened him, yet he filmed on. Subtle performances impressed critics. Emotional range grew. Grief and roles hit home. Public mourned him. Statue in his honor stands tall. Films rerun endlessly. New generations discover him. Admiration remains strong. Stories inspire today. Courage from his example. Gregory Peck stood out in Hollywood for his strong sense of right and wrong, quiet strength, and serious presence on screen. He became one of the most admired actors ever. Born in El Ajola, California, he came from a family with Irish and English roots. Early in life, he faced tough times when his parents divorced and his grandmother passed away. He went to military school and then to UC Berkeley, where he first got interested in acting. Later, he trained at the Neighborhood Playhouse in New York and soon succeeded on Broadway. From there, he moved to movies. In his first big film roles, like The Keys of the Kingdom, Peck showed a calm and steady sense of respect that made him different from others. He often played brave and honest men who faced wrong alone, and his most famous part was Atticus Finch in To Kill a Mockingbird. That role won him an Academy Award and made him the voice of good values in American films. Peck did more than act. He spoke out against the House Un-American Activities Committee and supported civil rights when few in Hollywood did. He could handle tricky good and bad sides in characters, showing his wide skills in movies such as The Guns of Navarone, Roman Holiday, and Spellbound by Hitchcock. Even in old age, he kept working in films and helping others through charity. In 1969, he received the Presidential Medal of Freedom. His lasting picture is one of kindness, understanding, and solid honesty, bringing real class to every part he played. Through his life, Peck showed how one person can make a difference on screen and off, inspiring many with his steady ways. His early struggles shaped him into a man of deep feeling, always choosing roles that mattered. On stage and in films, he drew people in with his honest eyes and firm voice, making viewers believe in the heroes he brought to life. Friends and fans alike saw him as a true gentleman, someone who lived the morals he showed in his work. As years went by, his films stayed popular, teaching lessons about standing up for what is fair. Peck's choice to fight for justice mirrored the characters he knew best, like the lone lawyer in a small town facing hate. His calm power touched hearts, proving that real strength comes from inside, not from noise or show. In quieter moments, like walking through scenes in Roman Holiday, he let charm shine through without trying too hard. That blend kept audiences coming back, seeing a bit of themselves in his noble ways. Later honors came because people remembered how he honored life itself, always pushing for better in the world around him. Furthermore, Humphrey Bogart stood out as a true icon of Hollywood's golden age, capturing the tough guy spirit with his raw charm and direct style. Born in a rich New York family, he chose acting over jobs like his father's in medicine or his mother's in art. After his time in the Navy during World War I, he moved to the stage and then to film, starting with small roles at Warner Brothers in the 1930s as mean criminals. His big chances came with movies like High Sierra and The Maltese Falcon, where his sharp way of speaking and hidden emotions changed how people saw heroes. In Casablanca, as Rick Blaine, he mixed doubt and love perfectly, making him a star like no other. Away from the camera, Bogart was defiant, helping start a group against Hollywood's blacklist of people suspected of communist links. Even with health problems and tough marriages, including 4 in total, with his last one to Lauren Bacall being his longest age, he stayed a powerful force in movies until he passed away in 1957. Today, his image of a gravel-voiced man in a trench coat still shapes stories about complex characters who bend the rules. Katharine Hepburn was more than just a talented actress. She was a trailblazer who broke many rules in Hollywood and changed how women were seen both on and off the screen. She grew up in a progressive family in New England that believed strongly in education and women's rights. From a young age, she learned to question authority and follow her own passions, which shaped her brave and independent personality. Hepburn's acting reflected her fierce spirit. She often played women who were strong, smart, and complex, never pretending to be something she was not. Her first films earned her praise, but in the late 1930s, a series of unsuccessful movies made her seem less popular in theaters. Instead of giving up, she went back to Broadway, bought the rights to the play The Philadelphia Story, and convinced the studio MGM to let her star in the film version. This smart move brought her back to major film success. Her chemistry with Spencer Tracy on screen became famous because they shared a real bond of respect and affection, even though Tracy was married. Hepburn, later films like The African Queen, Guess Who, Coming to Dinner, and On Golden Pond showed her willingness to age and confront aging and vanity openly. She won 4 Academy Awards, the most ever for an actress, proving her resilience and talent. Through her work and life choices, Hepburn reinvented what it meant to be a leading lady in Hollywood, leaving a lasting legacy of strength, authenticity, and artistic independence. Elizabeth Taylor lived a life full of talent, beauty, and strong feelings. She was born in London to parents from America and moved to California during World War II. Her natural charm and striking violet eyes drew the attention of the film world right away. As a young girl, she became famous in the movie National Velvet, but she really became a major star when she started playing older roles. Her powerful and emotional acting in films like A Place in the Sun, Giant, Cat on a Hot Tin Roof, and Who Hangs Afraid of Virginia Woolf won her praise from critics and 2 Academy Awards. Taylor played Cleopatra in a big way. She not only acted as the famous queen, but also commanded the biggest pay for any actor back then. Her real-life romance with co-star Richard Burton caused huge excitement around the world. They married twice, had intense marriages, and worked together on films, mixing deep drama with gossip stories. Taylor was smart with money and cared a lot about others. In the 1980s, she was one of the first stars to fight AIDS, starting the Elizabeth Taylor AIDS Foundation and raising lots of money for research and education. Her long career and help for good causes made her more than just a movie star. She stood for strength, toughness, and starting over. No one in Hollywood has matched her mix of acting skill and kind heart. Indeed, her journey started with simple beginnings that led to global fame. Moving across the ocean as a child, she adapted quickly to the sunny hills of California, where her talent blossomed under the studio lights. Directors saw her potential early on, casting her in roles that showed her horsemanship and youthful energy, yet it was her growth from child star to woman that truly defined her path. In A Place in the Sun, she portrayed a complex character trapped by ambition and love, earning more nods for her depth. Giant showed her as a Texas wife facing family drama, highlighting her ability to hold the screen. Cat on a Hot Tin Roof brought raw passion to her scenes with Paul Newman, making audiences feel every heated emotion. Then came Who Hangs Afraid of Virginia Woolf, a battle of wits and wounds that showcased her range as an actress willing to dive into dark places. Off-screen, the Cleopatra role was a turning point. The film's production ran over budget and time, but Taylor emerged as a force of nature. Her relationship with Burton began during filming, sparking headlines that sold newspapers worldwide. They wed in a fairy tale ceremony, only to divorce and remarry later, each time drawing more attention. Their love was stormy, full of fights and makeups, yet it fueled some of their best work in films like The Taming of the Shrew. Taylor owned her life choices, never shy about her 8 marriages or her outspoken ways. In later years, she turned her spotlight to charity. Diagnosed with health issues herself, she recognized the toll of AIDS and became an advocate. She wrote checks, hosted events, and spoke out, founding her foundation to help people affected by the disease. Her home became a hub for fundraisers, blending Hollywood glamour with real-world compassion. She worked with leaders and celebrities alike to support research, education, and prevention. This legacy added layers to her image, proving she was more than a beauty icon. She was a fighter for causes bigger than fame. Elizabeth Taylor's influence stretched beyond films. She invested in beauty products, jewelry, and even owned a perfume line inspired by her image. Her violet eyes became a trademark, photographed endlessly by magazines. Yet, through it all, she remained loyal to her roots, visiting her family's grave in Britain and staying connected to her heritage. Her friendships with famous people like Michael Jackson showed her warmth, as she supported others in their struggles. Looking back, her reinvention was remarkable. From war-era child to AIDS activist, she navigated highs and lows with grace. She won more awards, including Golden Globes and honors from organizations grateful for her philanthropy. Films continued to call, but charity took center stage. She raised funds that saved lives and changed public views on disease. Her voice mattered in a time when many looked away. Through passion and purpose, Taylor left a lasting mark, inspiring generations to embrace their stories fully and help others along the way. Moreover, Orson Welles stood out as a creative genius from his youth, showing remarkable talent in theater and radio while still in his 20s. His fame grew when he adapted H.G. Wells' novel, The War of the Worlds, into a radio play in 1938, making it sound incredibly real, with dramatic effects that fooled many people into thinking Martians were actually invading Earth, leading to widespread panic among listeners. This event marked a high point in his early career, but he soon shifted to film. At just 25 years old, Wells took on directing, co-writing, and starring in Citizen Kane, a movie that cinematographers and critics still call the best film in history due to its bold innovations, such as sharp focus on every part of the scene. Creative lighting to add moods, jumping timelines in the story to confuse and engage viewers, and deep exploration of the main character's personality. Citizen Kane changed movies forever by pushing boundaries and inspiring filmmakers everywhere. Unfortunately, Wells' strong ideas often went against the strict rules of Hollywood studios, so later projects faced money problems or changes he did not want, altering the final versions. Despite these challenges, he kept working hard, creating important films like The Magnificent Ambersons, a story of family declines through generations, Touch of Evil, a dark crime film with confusing camera angles, and F for Fake, a documentary exploring art deception. His deep, booming voice, large build, and love for trying new things in film made him famous in both American and European cinemas. Even when Hollywood turned away from him, Wells found ways to make his films, sometimes paying for them himself, and he stayed true to finding truth and new ways to tell stories. His work lives on as a testament to his passion and skill. Finally, as we wrap up our journey through the 10 most evocative stars in Hollywood history, it's clear that these icons not only filled the screen with magic, but also reflected the human spirit in profound ways. From Charlie Chaplin's silent tramp, who taught us laughter through hardship, to Marilyn Monroe's glamorous yet vulnerable transformation, each star brought raw emotion that mirrored society's ups and downs. James Dean emerged as a rebel, tossing out new ideas on youth and freedom, while Audrey Hepburn added grace and kindness, fighting for children's rights even when love failed her. Marlon Brando's intense realism shook acting norms, showing inner pain, and Bette Davis's powerful roles as strong women battled old limits. Humphrey Bogart embodied cool bravery in tough times, proving that style comes from quiet strength, just as Greta Garbo's mysterious allure captured a longing for something more. Clark Gable represented rugged charm, winning hearts with simple honesty, and Katharine Hepburn broke rules with her sharp wit and fierce independence. Together, these stars navigated personal struggles, from lost loves to health battles. Yet their films spread messages of hope, challenging norms, and inspiring fans worldwide. They donated to causes, spoke for fairness, and let their private pains enrich public stories, turning cinema into a mirror of dreams and resilience. In their prime, they sparked trends in fashion, talk, and culture that still echo today, reminding us that true stars shine brightest when they share their real selves, not just costumes or lines. Their paths remind older viewers like us of eras gone by, where talent met heart in ways that changed how we see movies forever, leaving an imprint on generations from the silver screen to today's stories. And even as new faces rise, these evocative pioneers keep fading into legend, their spirit alive in every reel that stirs our